Hello, my name is Jacqueline Rutledge,
And my name is Grace Young.
and we're the co-writer-directors of Ava and Natalie's Puppet Show Delight.
This year we jumped at the chance to write and direct our own show, and we decided to tell the story of a relationship that doesn't often get told.
This is a story of two sisters who find themselves on diverging paths. It's a show about growing up, change, and that it's never too late to repair a relationship with your siblings.
Trigger warnings include swear words, puppets, John Lennon, gunshot, and flashing lights.
Thank you for tuning in tonight. Please enjoy the show.
Peace and love.
Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young princess named Lucy. She lived with her two parents and her older sister Michelle. The kingdom was a magical place, filled with kings and queens, princes and princesses, knights and heroes, or mages and villains. The two parents invested much of their time in the young girl's education. Both were taught to play piano and flute, were taught to dance, had a good eye for art, mastered their kingdom's languages, and were educated in the politics of their kingdom.
They were the first set of royal siblings that the kingdom had seen in centuries. After generations of only children, the royal family had been blessed with two sisters. Just as you'd expect, the two girls were very close, and they did everything together. They sat beside each other at every meal, would walk through the street arm in arm, and would whisper to each other as they went. They wore matching bows in their hair and matching braids as well. The girls were inseparable, and they were never seen apart.
I want to change that line. Ugh. And we're never seen apart. It feels wrong. I want to change it.
You're insane. You know that? You're actually insane. We've made so many line changes in the last hour.
Wrong.
It's not even the same script. And besides, I wrote that line, and I think it slippeth right off the tongue.
I'm pretty sure I wroteth that line, Ava.
Oh, really? Well, in that case, let's change it right away.
What if it was something like, and it seemed as though they were inseparable? Or maybe...
Does it even matter? It's such a small line.
It does matter. This one's different from our other shows. It's not just mom and dad and maybe grandpa in the audience this time. And, well, there might be... Well, I don't know. It could be a good way to make friends, you know?
Huh. You're funny. Because everyone's gonna think I'm so cool when I tell them about the puppet show I wrote with my little sister. First day of grade 10, and I'm already the laughingstock of the entire school. I won't be telling anyone about the date and location of the show unless absolutely necessary.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about me. It's my first day too, and grade 7 isn't exactly easy either.
Oh.
Besides, I don't think you should try to hide all this stuff, though. If they don't like puppets, I don't think you should try to impress them.
Thank you, Natalie. It's really tomorrow. Huh.
Yeah, first day. Do we tell them
What?
that we were homeschooled? Tomorrow, like, do we just say it outright?
Don't you think we're weird enough already? Hey, come on. It'll be fine. We'll be okay. We just don't have to tell everyone we've never been to a real school. At least not right away. Look at me! Look deep into my eyes! We'll be fine, okay?
Okay.
Good.
You're terrible!
God, what are you doing? You're so unprofessional. Let's get back to rehearsal and enough with the horsing around.
With the cold weather on the wind, the season for dances began. The two sisters enjoyed this season greatly. The kingdom would be filled with all new people to meet, and there would be a feast of the kingdom's finest food every other day.
It was a wonderful time of the year. The eldest princess was beyond excited to make new friends, and the season for dance brought many princesses from neighboring kingdoms to giggle with, and many princes to ogle.
Are thou ready for the ball?
Of course, I have my dress on, hair done, makeup on my face. I even remembered my pointy princess hat. All that's left is to wait for the servants to come and escort us.
Are thou excited?
How could I not be? Did thou hear about all the guests? All the people they invited?
Briefly in conversation, but I never really bothered to look upon the guest list.
Well, did thou hear about who they invited? Prince Kyle shall be attending!
Prince Kyle?
Thou must remember him. His father visited last March for a diplomatic visit. He looked absolutely divine. Beautiful green eyes, effortlessly cool brown hair. He looked so handsome in his modern frocks.
Cool. Sounds great. 'Tis time for us to depart.
This is so exciting, Natalie. Our first real high school party. Our indoctrination into the world of independence and actual fun is upon us. It feels good.
I don't know if this is such a good idea. I'm kind of out of place here. And I don't see anybody else who still wears Crocs.
I think you're just overthinking stuff.
I'm gonna go find out where the snack table is. I'll see you later, though.
Okay, just come find me later. I'll introduce you to everyone. Hey, Kyle. So, how are you?
Oh, I'm great.
So, where is everyone?
Oh, Alexis is off getting something to drink. Katie's about 5 minutes away right now, but she just got her license, so it'll take her like 15 minutes to parallel park. And Jason got grounded yesterday for vaping, so he's not going anywhere for the next 2 weeks. It's just us here. How was your first high school party?
It's going good so far. My little sister's around here somewhere. I'll have to introduce you.
You brought your sister?
Yeah, she's just getting snacks right now.
But like, it was your mom who made you bring her, right?
Oh. Yeah, totally. My mom made me bring her.
Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. And you were homeschooled already, like that's bad enough. Don't worry about it though, I'm sure nobody's going to notice her.
Yeah. I just can't believe my mom made me bring her, you know? I just want a weekend to myself. Instead, I'm always doing rehearsals.
Rehearsals? Rehearsals for what?
Oh, it's nothing. It's just this puppet show that I'm putting on with my sister for school talent show at the end of the year, and it's no big deal, but don't tell anyone about it.
Did you say puppet show? Like creepy kind of puppets or for little kids?
Like, normal puppets?
Oh my god, that's so horrible. Your mom made you do that too.
Yeah. It's so horrible. My little sister is in the 7th grade, and she still acts just like a little kid. It's so annoying. And she's so controlling about rehearsals and everything.
Yeah, that really sucks. The whole gang usually goes to the mall on Saturdays, and we were totally going to invite you along. There's no chance you can blow off a rehearsal tomorrow.
I can try, but I don't think there's any chance of me getting out of it. I would love to come with you guys, though.
Well, hopefully you can figure something out, because you're pretty cool, and I think we'd all be really disappointed if you weren't able to come. Oh, hey, is that your little sister?
Yeah, that's her.
I found the snack table upstairs, but I'm not really feeling hungry at the moment. Do you want my plate?
You're just the sweetest.
I think I'm just gonna go take another walk around the party. I'll see you guys later, though.
Okay, bye. Did you see she's still wearing Crocs?
A real sister wouldn't be embarrassed about me! I get me as far away from thee as possible. Hello?
Hey, Natalie, you gotta see what Kyle. Oh?
Are you ready to start?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Let's take it from Maxwell's entrance.
Fine, whatever you say, boss. It was on one such night of music and dancing that something quite horrific took place in the kingdom.
Something so evil, so vile, it'd be passed down through stories for generations to come.
Just as Lucy was considering turning back around and giving Michelle another chance,
Lightning and thunder broke out in the path in front of her.
suddenly a dark silhouette loomed ahead.
It was none other than the dark sorcerer Maxwell and his silver hammer.
Bang, bang, Maxwell Silver.
What?
What do you mean, what?
I mean, that's not in the script.
I thought the Beatles could make it more interesting for the audience. We need to make it more...
Why would that do anything?
People love the Beatles. It's something everybody knows about. And it isn't just going to be mom and dad in the audience anymore. We have to keep these guys entertained, like you said.
Your stupid new friends are giving you such an ego. You think it's fine to be late to every rehearsal? You think it's fine to make a change in my choreography a month before the show? And you didn't tell me. You know you didn't. This isn't what I thought public school would be like.
Fine, maybe I didn't tell you. It's just because...
Because I'm so controlling about rehearsals and stuff?
Natalie...
Or is it because you're only here because Mom makes you? You only keep me around because Mom says you have to. You don't even want me around.
Okay, that's enough. And it isn't your choreography. We did it together. If it was just your choreography, no one would even come and see the show. I've got to take this.
Well, if we just had your ridiculous ideas, nobody would come see it either. You can't do anything by yourself. You just leech off me and those stupid new friends of yours. You wouldn't last a day by yourself.
Yeah. I'll meet you there. No. Rehearsal is canceled. Actually, I'm free all week.
Salutations. We've met, correct?
Of course, Your Highness. We met just last March, when thou and thine father were visiting. It's so wonderful to meet thee once more.
Pleasant to meet with you again, dog. You guys were so nice the last time I was here. Ugh, and these shrimp. I remember them well. I ate with my body weight in them last spring. Thou hast got the dopest laugh. You know, these functions are always quite uptight, man. That's why I decided to wear mine own clothes, not some dumbeth, stupideth clothes my mom picketh out for me. She insists I look much more charming in those clothes than I do in these.
Well, I think you look very handsome in the ensemble you're wearing right now.
Thou art nice, and pretty cool.
Many thanks, Your Highness.
Doth thou want to watch me do a kickflip?
Your
I was...
It's thine sister. Someone has given Rush. She quit the castle grounds in a big rush.
Lucy? I must go find her.
What? But it's just thine sister. And what for me? Art thou just going to leaveth me here? I was about to do a kickflip!
She's mine sister. I need to find her this instant.
Thou shouldst just stay here. I don't want us to be all alone.
I'll bring thee with me. Let us go.
Now all I need to do is start rehearsing. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived two sisters. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young princess named Lucy. She did everything princesses do. In fact, she was the very best at all the royal activities. All her days were spent playing the pianoforte, learning needlepoint, mastering her kingdom's languages, studying history and diplomacy, and of course, taking pleasant strolls through palace gardens. Now, of course, you may question how it was possible for a girl of such young age to master so many seemingly non-competitive pursuits. It's quite easy. All you need is an older sister who doesn't care for practicing important skills because she's too busy hanging out with her cool friends and flirting with boys. Then you can easily be the best in the family. You see, this young princess had exactly that sister. Her older sister, Michelle, once she was of age to be in society, had lost all interests in the things that really mattered. So many suitors came asking for her hand in marriage. They'd bring her gifts of flowers and chocolates and the finest jewelry they could afford. And with each proposal, her ego only grew bigger and bigger. Any interest she once held were gone, and every thought was replaced with boys. And just when the young princess thought it couldn't get any worse, then Prince Kyle showed up. He was cool, the younger princess had to admit, but she found him to be too shallow and too focused on his skateboard. But of course, Michelle could never see this. In her eyes, he was perfect. Lucy tried to convince her otherwise at every possible moment, but nothing ever worked. Like, at her engagement party, he's just so dreamy and perfect, and just look at the ring. Isn't it the most precious ring thou hast ever seen? I suppose, but art thou sure this is what thou wants? What dost thou mean? I'm betrothed? I thought they wanted that for me. Of course I want you to get married. It's just, are thou sure? Are thou ready? Yes, I'm ready. I wouldn't have said yes if I wasn't ready. I think that we're going to miss what our lists were before this. History lessons, needlepoint on Saturdays, our strolls through palace gardens. Once you're married, all that stuff will be gone. They'll be off and married in my husband's kingdom. I shan't be here anymore. We won't be together anymore. I want to be married. I think you're just not ready to let me grow up. And so with her sister gone, there wasn't anything to do but become the best. And it was amazing. Her amazing abilities inspired the kingdom, and with that, her kingdom prospered. The livestock and fields of produce were healthier and more successful than ever before. With the extra money the fields brought in, the streets and gardens could be repaired, the schools were open to more children, and every single person had a belly full of food. And it was all because of Lucy's outstanding abilities. Her sister, on the other hand, did not have the same success. In her search for the right suitor, any knowledge that would have helped her kingdom was lost. So, her kingdom suffered. The crops died, the streets fell into despair, the schools were shut down, and people could only afford to eat meals of loose oats and potatoes. But, of course, those only lasted so long. Eventually, only the blades of grass that grew between the cobblestone remained. Hey, that's my grass. Giveth it to me. I saw it first. I am a peasant. So am I, you peasant. My crops died first. I'm far hungrier. Peasant. And one skill Princess Lucy didn't tell the public about was her mastery of the art of karate. And Prince Kyle, well, he was gifted with learning about this talent. Gifted with my fist in his face. And then Michelle finally realized every mistake. She traced back everything that went wrong in her life back to a single moment. The moment she decided she was too cool to hang out with her younger sister. And then she lived the rest of her life as a sad, tiny old woman out in the forest, constantly reminded of all that she had lost. Until one day she died in her sad little house out in the forest, with the only companions in the last years of her life, the mice that lived in her cupboard.
mine sister was just here.
How doth thou knowest that?
Looketh at the ground. Her shoe prints are clear as day.
Oh, wow.
'Tisn't like her.
She seemeth quite emotional.
'Tis quite unusual for her. Oh, my dear! Her hat!
Huh? Her what?
She has dropped her hat! This means something has happened for sure. Something bad.
Whoa, and looketh, her shoe prints endeth here. What doth that mean?
Something must have carried her off? But how could that be possible? I know her whereabouts! Looketh!
Oh, wow. That's totally freaky, dude.
Oh my gosh. I love your shirt. Where'd you get it?
Oh, thanks. I think it's like from my grandma or something.
Oh, so it's like vintage.
Oh my god, my mom's so annoying! She's still mad about that party we had a few weeks ago.
Oh, how come?
I don't know, something about how I shouldn't be inviting 7th graders to my parties. That was your fault. She left early, right?
Yeah, I think she just wasn't feeling well, so she left.
How's your puppet show going, by the way?
A puppet show?
Yeah, it's silly. We did a lot of stuff like that growing up.
Like what?
Yeah, like what?
Well, we would put on puppet shows and sing our own covers of songs. And, well, I do a lot of impressions sometimes.
Could you do some impressions for us?
Yeah, who can you do?
Well, I was really good at the Beatles.
Oh, you have to do them for us.
Okay. Well, this is Paul McCartney. This is George Harrison. This is Ringo Starr, Peace and Love. And this is John Lennon.
Incredible. Was that from your show?
There was a little bit, but there was more in the version of the show I'd originally written.
You had your own version of the show?
Yeah, it was just Beatles impressions, though.
Wait, did you have Beatles puppets?
Yeah, I have them with me right
You
now if you
brought
guys
them
want to
with
see.
you?
Yeah, perform your show.
Okay, well, just to warn you guys, it was originally written for an elementary school audience, so it might be like dumbed down or childish in some places. You see, one of the greatest kept secrets of the Beatles is a conspiracy theory that the public was constantly so close to finding out. We tried to push it out of their mind for many years, and we did a good job of it too. Now it's just one of those things in the back of people's heads, or a silly little joke for those die-hard Beatles fans. You see, we had been a band for a few years now, and we had grown quite accustomed to each other's habits and quirks. Now, I am in no way perfect, and many aspects of my personality must have concerned the guys. But it was an aspect of Paul's personality that concerned us the most. You see, Paul had the unfortunate habit of crossing the street with his eyes closed. All righty, Ringo. I'll take it from here. All righty, John. Peace and love. We did our best, you know, to keep him safe. We would walk across the street, arm in arm. But he liked his independence. And sometimes he would just walk off on his own, determined to prove that he didn't need our or Lollipop Man's help to cross the street. Okay, so in the UK, they have these things called Lollipop Men. They're like the crossing guards that help little kids cross the street to make sure they don't get hurt. And they're called Lollipop Men because they're stop signs. It was my turn to watch him. We had had gone outside together, and we were going to a local pub. I let him out of my sight, and just like before, he walked off on his own. But he was feeling a little bit more daring this time. This time, he was going to cross the M1 motorway. It's all righty, George. We know it wasn't your fault. It was quite late at night when George came and woke up me and Ringo. We searched for many, many hours, and it wasn't until around 3 in the morning that we found him. We assumed that someone had hit him with their car, and been so shocked by the fact that they had killed the Paul McCartney that they had simply driven off, believing the events of the night to be a bad dream. But the bad dream had only started for us. We had achieved a level of fame that no other boy band had before us. We knew what would happen if one of us died. There would be riots in every major city. The news would be flooded with Beatles memorials for months. And the Soviets would win the space race and be the first to put a man on the moon. We knew what we had to do for world peace and love. We carried him off to a nearby field and gave him a proper burial, marking his graves with rocks and flowers. And then we headed to a nearby pub for a drink in his honor. It was that night that we came up with a plan that would haunt us for the rest of our lives. We met this Paul impersonator by chance. They looked practically identical. He even sang just like Paul. Contrary to popular conspiracy theories, his name wasn't Wesley Stewart or Billy Campbell. It was William Shears. And when we met him, he was absolutely plastered. Completely trotted. So far past tipsy. Drunk as a newt. We invited him to hang out at our place. And immediately upon arrival, he passed out on the couch. He was very shocked in the morning to find himself on the Beatles' couch. And even more shocked when we told him that he was the real Paul McCartney. It took us a few weeks to completely convince him. We just told him that he had a few too many drinks that night. That's all. That must have been the reason he'd forgotten who he was. And as a former Paul impersonator, he already knew so many of the details of Paul's life. Any little chinks in memory could be filled with, "Oh, silly Paul, so forgetful." I missed my Paul, our Paul, the real Paul. It was me who put all of those clues in our lyrics and album art. Me and John tried our best to put the thought of losing Paul out of our minds. But George needed a bit of extra support. We tried many grief counseling techniques and books with him, but none seemed to do the trick. Peace and love. All righty, George. This is right out of page 18 of The Power of Letting Your Bandmates Go by Paul Simon. Let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Look at me, Paul. George. Silly me. Look at me, George. Look at me. It's easy if you try. Look at the people, George. Look at them. That's enough, John. We know you just want to plug your stupid song into everything we do. Actually, I feel a bit better, Ringo, to be honest. Peace and love, you always say, Ringo. Peace and love. You know I just want my buddy George Harrison to move on with the rest of us. Stop spreading all this hate around. I am getting sick and tired of your shit, John. Have you tried imagining there's no countries and no religion, too? Peace and love. Ringo Starr.
So, do you, love the Beatles or hate them? Because it's really unclear.
What do you mean?
Like, you killed 2 of them off in your show, and you had one of the others do it. Kind of makes it seem like you hate them. But you also seem like really invested, so...
I wouldn't say that I hate them. I think the relationship I have with the Beatles is a little more nuanced than that.
Sure.
But like, you guys liked it, right?
He was interesting.
Yeah, it was something.
Well, it was good.
Yeah,
right?
he was good. He was just a little bit weird.
I guess it could be
And that
weird
Simon
in
and Garfunkel
some
reference that
ways.
came out of nowhere,
Wait, you guys
Or
know
like
the Simon
every
Garfunkel
Ringo
one?
line that went, peace and love.
that was a good Ringo Starr impression.
It was okay.
Maybe I should have my own
guess.
Beatles puppet show.
You should. I would come to that. That'd be such a good show.
Oh my gosh, and that was like
Funny.
your version, and you're kind of cool. I can't even imagine what your sister's is like.
Oh my god, it's probably so much weirder.
I wouldn't say
It's
so.
probably like
She's
a One Direction conspiracy theory.
It's probably even worse than that. Her sister's in the 7th grade. Have you spoken to a 7th grader
Oh
recently?
my gosh, like, I don't remember 7th grade, but I'm glad, because they're so weird.
That'd be so much.
I'm not feeling well, guys. I think I'm gonna go home.
Oh no, is everything okay?
Yeah, I shouldn't have even come. I don't want to get you guys sick.
Do you have a headache? I can go ask my mom for an Advil. Unless you can't have Advil for some like weird homeschool religious reasons.
No, I'm fine. I think I'll just go home. I'll see you guys on Monday, though.
Yeah, okay, just take care of yourself, okay?
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
See you later. This religious class. So nice to have you finally visit my evil lair.
You shouldn't have done this. I'm the princess. Someone will be coming to save me.
Art thou absolutely positive about that? 'Cause if I remembereth correctly, you just ran from the busiest ball of the season, and thine sister—
What about my sister?
Well, she hurt thy feelings without knowing. How would she know to come save thee?
She'd notice I was gone.
Art thou sure? 'Cause I heard that you two had been growing apart.
A servant probably saw me. Someone had to notice.
I wouldn't be so sure. Thou art known for oft enjoying a pleasant walk through the castle gardens, and who could blame thee for wanting to enjoy the flowers on such a gorgeous night?
Whatever. 'Tis not like thee made any plans to get me here. Thou catching me was just dumb luck.
Oh no, that's where thou art wrong. I've been watching thee for years from mine crystal ball, and planning thine demise. Was that not just the coolest backflip thou hast ever seen? Sometimes I just can't help but backflip. No? I've been trying to take control of the kingdom for most of my life. And of course, as a very old man, I've watched thy grandfathers and great-grandfathers just waiting to find a weakness, a crack in thy kingdom's armor. And for hundreds of years, there had been nothing. Until you two came along. You see, it's you girls that hold all the real power. Thou art not just the future leaders of thy kingdoms, thou art the future of thy kingdoms. And with the two of thee on the throne, the kingdom would be stronger than ever. And I could never take control with two brilliant and meticulously trained leaders. Thou art each other's strength, but thou art also each other's weakness. If there was one thing I knew about siblings, it's that they will eventually have fights and disagreements. So there was my way in, my way to take over the kingdom. Wait until you girls had a big fight and take advantage of the situation. And then, with the kingdom in disarray, searching for their missing leader and her sister, heartbroken from having lost her best friend, my job would be a piece of cake. And I began to grow worried that maybe the bond between sisters was just too strong, that the friendship between you two was unbreakable. Those worries soon disappeared as you two grew older, specifically as your sister entered society. You see, I'd forgotten a very important factor. I'd forgotten about the boys and the friends.
The
and
boys? Don't you think that's a bit outdated?
Well, 'tis not just the boys, 'tis more the aspect of growing up.
Huh?
Well, since you two were little, you've been absolutely inseparable, just as every pair of sisters are, and there was no way for me to kidnap two princesses. So I had to wait for you two to be separated. Wait for your older sister to decide that it's time for her to stop playing tea party with her little sister and start attending real tea parties for real grown-ups. And you'd be left behind, just waiting to be kidnapped.
Why are thou doing this?
You'll figure that out soon. I'm sure it won't take you long. We're very similar, you and I. We're birds of a feather.
There is no we. We're not the same.
Come on, Lucy. The sooner you accept it, the better off you'll be.
You don't know anything about me.
You don't know anything about me either.
I know it's enough.
If you knew it enough, you'd see our similarities. Why don't I tell you a story? Once upon a time, there lived a powerful warlock, Maxwell. He lived in a tall tower with his parents and older brother Desmond. The tower was a magical place, filled with potions and elixirs, wands and broomsticks, eye of newt and toe of frog, and spellbooks of good and evil magic. The brothers' parents invested much of their time on their education. They were taught to brew potions to cure any illness, the spell to defeat any foe, how to tame magical beasts, and see the future in tea leaves or a crystal ball. And the boys, they were inseparable. The very best of friends. Until one day the eldest brother decided to be a squiggling bag of maggots and leave the tower. Thou art leaving me here all by myself? I can't stay in this tower forever. Why not? It's perfect here. Nothing has to change. Sometimes things have to change, Maxwell. No, they don't. If you leave, you're going to destroy everything we have here. I think you're just not ready to let me, idiot. You're stupid. Thou art projecting thy guilt onto me, and I'm not going to take it. I don't want to see you again. And so he left me all alone. He went off and lived his own life. I had to figure out everything by myself, and I did it so well without you, him. I'm doing just fine on my own. I haven't spoken to him in ages, and I imagine he hasn't even thought of me recently. You know, I still have his number on speed dial, just in case. You see that, Lucy? We're the same. We just happen to know how things should be, how things should stay. We're the ones that should be in control.
Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a young princess named Michelle. She did everything princesses do. In fact, she did all the princessly activities with her younger sister Lucy. All their days were spent playing the pianoforte, learning needlepoint, mastering their kingdom's languages, taking strolls through palace gardens, and of course, staying up late, whispering secrets to each other in blanket forts. They were closer than braided ribbons, and did everything together. Lucy wanted it to be this way forever. She clung to her sister so tightly. Even when Michelle was awful, she always came back to her. They always made up after fights. Until one day they didn't. The two sisters parted ways and never reconciled. From that night forward, the two girls never spoke again. Michelle left and started her own kingdom. Far away from the palace gardens, they used to stroll down together. That night, as Lucy was walking the halls of her palace, she realized something. Even when Michelle said the worst words that Lucy had heard in her entire life, and Lucy used her most wicked words in reply, even when she felt unwanted, like a burden, like her hard work meant nothing to the one she looked up to so much. Even if Michelle was nothing but a nasty old hag, she was still terrified to face the world without her sister, without her best friend. The kingdom was changing, and Lucy was stuck in a playroom with dolls and sewing and pianoforte. Now there are strangers and bus routes and boys who would talk to her, and it wasn't also terrifying when she had Ava around. It's always felt so big, but I don't... How am I supposed to fit into it? I know I can do it somehow, but I don't... How am I going to do it alone?
What is this? How did some know about this?
Well, when one studies diplomacy and the history of one's kingdom every day since you were 5, one tends to know about the type of people who wish your kingdom harm. Some old wizard lives here.
What would an old wizard want with your kingdom?
I don't know. I'm not an old wizard.
Hey, wait, are thou sure that's a good idea?
What? The only way to get up is if I climb.
Thou art actually going all the way up there?
If thy sees another option, let me know.
No, it's just, shouldn't we go back to the castle and bring some guards? Like, if thou knew about this old wizard dude, he must be dangerous. And 'tis a steep climb. A lot for just one princess.
I can handle myself. Art thou not coming with me?
Michelle, don't you think you're rushing into this? This looks like a lot of work. Like, a lot of work. We could call for help. You could wait down here with me.
Lucy's already been gone too long. If anything, we're late.
Come on, it's just us. Your sister can wait.
That's why it can't wait. It's mine sister.
Michelle, you're overreacting. Don't worry about her.
Look, Kyle. Lucy is up there, so either you can come up there with me, or you can go back to the castle.
Michelle, I'm getting a really weird vibe from you right now. You do have a thing for me, right? Isn't that why you brought me with you? Did I come all the way out here for nothing? And there's no way that's sanitary. I mean, what if we get tetanus while we're climbing, huh?
Look, Kyle. I don't know how to make this any more clear. Nothing you can say to me is going to make me change my mind. And if you don't want to come up there with me, then I don't want to see you ever again.
But...
Goodbye, Kyle.
Still waiting for your dear sister to come save thee. Think she'll be here soon?
Just stop, please.
Oh, hast thou given up? Hast thou finally accepted thy fate?
You made your point. She's not coming.
Don't worry, you'll get used to it soon. That's all siblings are really meant for. It gets less disappointing the more they let you down.
So, this is only the first?
'Tis only the first in a long life of disappointments.
Really?
Yes, but don't you get sad? Before you know it, you'll be all grown up, and you won't even be thinking about your sister. You'll have your own tower. Maybe learn to backflip.
I guess.
We are going to have a busy next few days, taking over the kingdom and such. So how about you sit tight while I prepare for my trip to the palace tomorrow morning? My skip the dishes has arrived!
Michelle!
Thou aren't supposed to be here.
You need to let my sister go.
This is not how this is supposed to happen.
I don't care. Let her go.
Let her go? You think I would just let you come in here and ruin my evil plans?
'Tis either that or face the consequences for what you've done.
Face the consequences? From some 15-year-old princess, you have no backup.
She has me. Hey, yeah!
Oh no, 2 princesses. How will I win?
We've already derailed thine original plans, and there's no way you can fight us off both by yourself, even if thou art a wizard with magical powers.
Thou mayest ruin mine original plans, but this is going to happen on my own terms. Thou mayest had a chance of beating me as puppets, but we are no match as humans. Backflips are so much cooler!
Her back on the boy, he creeps up from behind. Bang, bang, Maxwell's silver hammer came down on her head. Bang, bang, Maxwell's silver hammer made sure that she was dead.
My phone, give that back!
No, that we're gonna call your brother and talk to him.
I won't.
You don't have any other choice. If there's one thing I know about siblings, it's that sometimes you fight. But that stuff doesn't matter. We make each other stronger, and even if we're apart, she's still my sister. She's still my best friend. Sometimes people are different and need room to grow. Thou can't blame your brother for that. I'm calling him.
No. Lucy, I can't. I can't talk to him.
Maxwell? Maxwell?
Hey, Desmond, it's me.
Is that you? I was just thinking about you, man. We haven't talked in so long.
I know, it's been too long.
Thank you for saving me.
Of course I would stay with you. What else are sisters for?
Thank you. Are you ready to go?
Yep. Are all the set pieces in position?
Yeah. Did you double check that costume changes were in place?
Yeah. Everything's in order.
Hey, Ava, I'm sorry. I should have.
No, Natalie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean what I said, and then I'm never talking to Kyle again, if it helps.
It does a little. You're 100% ready to go.
Yep.
Hey, Ava, one last thing.
Yeah?
I know I kept the whole Paul is dead thing in our show because it really helps in repairing our relationship. But, like,
Okay.
it has to go.
Okay.
Please, I'm begging you.
I get it.
It's so weird. I can deal with the Beatles references, but the conspiracy theories, they're a bit much.
Peace and love, Ringo
Stop.
Starr. We're on in 2 minutes.
We should probably get going.
Let's go.